They are pretty annoying.
And the list, making a list doesn't help.
Say vintage tire. It won't say the size and dimension.
That's really annoying.
So I need 14-inch 205/75 vintage.
How do you clear
tire.
the list, by the way?
When you hit triangle, it's the yellow one on the left, parts notes, and you go down to delete.
Oh, there we go. I was gonna say, it wouldn't be convenient to have.
That's the worst time to ask. You'd forget. Okay, 14-205/75. 14-205/75. Now these don't need to be balanced. I'm just gonna sell it anyway. Screw the next guy.
Pretty sure it requires you to make it balanced.
It does.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it would be nice if it didn't.
I remember being confused the first time I played this game.
Oh. Yeah, it's hard your first playthrough.
Because I think I skipped the tutorial or whatever, and so it took me a minute to find how to figure out how to put, the tires on the rims. And then once I did, it said, try to put it on. It must be balanced.
Oh. I just, the other day, tore my push mower apart, even took the motor off and ran through the carburetor real quick and cleaned it up and stuff, and I got a little scare out of that is when I put it back together and pulled it out, I heard a loud, I swore that some, like, connecting rod was about to blow through the thing. And I got lucky. I looked through it and I realized I was dumb and put the blade on backwards, and it was banging against the frame. Fixed that, but I think the piston rings are shot. It's puffing white smoke out and it's burning quite a bit of oil.
Gonna need to do a ring job.
I think at some point I might just experiment once it gets to an unusable amount and just take the engine apart and try to do, a rebuild.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just to get experience. I don't think it'd be too hard to just, as long as it's not seized, to take it apart and just put new rings on.
No, it shouldn't be too tough. There's someone who wrote into Car Talk, and they said, well, as I'm sure you know, every time you take apart and put back together and they named like two things. I forget what one of them was. A what?
I just got Roadmaster's one.
What's that for?
The Roadmaster job? You know, the one you did before?
Oh, yeah. That's what you meant. That was the name of a trophy.
So what are you saying?
Yeah, so they named two things, and I forget what one of them was, but this guy wrote in and he said, as I'm sure you know, when taking apart and putting back together a Volkswagen transmission or and I forget the other thing, you're always left with a few parts. When you're done, there's always a few parts left over. So he says it only stands to reason that if you did this enough times, you'd have enough parts for a second transmission.
Very true.
Yeah, just keep taking it apart and put it back together till you have enough pieces for two whole transmissions.
Eventually you'll get there. Eventually, for some reason, your other transmission will stop working. Yeah, it's never a good thing when you have leftover parts.
No. Alright, I just fixed, I'm gonna do the body work first before I drop in the new engine.
Oh. I can't wait to get in. I have 13,000 right now, so if I stretched it, I might be able to get a really crappy old car, but just gonna keep grinding on jobs.
How much
I
do you
need
have,
another
35?
I'm at 13,000.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not as smart with you though as with building parts but I'm still making quite a bit of
With
money. I
what?
started
At doing
when I
what?
got on. I only had 6,000.
That's good. Would you say you're not as good as me at?
Um, rebuilding parts and figuring out all that.
What do you mean, using old parts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't buy my own car really though until I have a lift. Until I have another lift.
That's
Easily.
pretty much true, yeah.
Because I can't do other jobs to make money when that car's stuck on the lift. So I'm just gonna get enough to get that other garage.
Band-Aid. I got a Chieftain Band-Aid here.
Huh.
And I'm buying one. I've never done this before. I'm going to the body shop and I'm buying one of every single part.
Ooh. One of every... I got 2 barn location maps.
Nice.
I'm on crate.
Oh, wow.
Roadmaster. Quit destroying your car.
Yeah.
Already went to me like 5 times before, and Sawyer a couple times, I'm sure. At least once.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite customers.
Yep.
Because the thing is always trash and it's expensive.
Hey, maybe you need to trade your little SUV thing here and buy yourself a nice truck or something. Because, geez,
Yeah.
how much you are spending now, you could buy like $200,000 truck. How much you're spending with a loan, with how much you're spending on suspension parts a month. Sorry to tell you that, Roadmaster. How would you screw up your timing components? How'd you break your belt tensioner mudding? Or whatever you're doing. How'd you break your serpentine belts?
Yeah, he's probably just mudding too hard till the belts break.
Yep.
It'd be cool to get some DLC for this game, but I only checked quickly, but it's like $8 or $10 or something for each make, and I don't know how many cars they add.
I wonder if... I know this game's very similar to Car Mechanics Simulator 2018 that's on computer. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
I actually like the console one more. I feel like it's easier to use.
Never tried on a computer, so I wouldn't know.
Yes, you would. You should. I mean, you haven't played on a computer, so you should know how to play on a computer.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, it totally is a point that makes sense. Idle roller's bad. No use in putting the tires on the list.
Yeah, I'm even replacing the steering wheel and all the seats, even though they were at like 90 or 87% before. I'm just
What?
doing all new.
Usually you're cheap. Jeez.
Well, not when I'm doing a rebuild of my own car.
Well, if it's 80 or 90%. Unless you're upgrading to a cooler one or something.
Nope. Exact
Oh.
same one. I'll throw it in someone else's car though, hopefully. So
You'll just
I don't know.
give
I don't
some.
know if you ever. Maybe they're just rare, but I don't think you ever get to put interior pieces in someone else's car.
I think you can, but it's very, very, very rare. I don't
Okay,
know.
so with everything new, like every single component is 100%, but no
Yeah.
engine. This car's worth 32K.
I wonder how much the engine will bring it up to. 32K.
Why? Why is the interior condition 72%?
Didn't you replace everything?
Yeah,
Should be 100.
I guess that just well, and it looks good. The frame's 67. It was a barn car, but it looks really good.
I heard of it. Yeah.
Uh, but so maybe that's just because the interior's old, I guess. But that's weird.
I guess.
Because everything is showing 100. All right, I'm gonna drop this engine in. So what do you think? What do you think it's gonna be worth? It's 32K without the engine.
32. What car is that?
It's the Chieftain Bandit. Just
Yeah, I
like
don't know.
a Camaro.
Okay, I'm gonna guess 42,000
Oh,
with the engine.
I
I
think
don't
it's gonna
know.
be higher.
Maybe 50. Although there'll probably be like one rubber bushing somewhere that's bad, though, prevent you from being able to start the car.
No, I can scroll through this list and see everything at 100.
That's what the game wants you to think.
Yeah. Alright, so it went from 32 to 49 with the engine. But I forgot to put the clips on the distributor cap.
That might even bring it up more.
Yes, and
Might bring it up a few
because
grand if it makes it drivable.
well, the clips are obviously cheap, but it adds the value of the clips, and then I actually still have to add the transmission because obviously can't do that till the engine's in. But once everything's on, you get more of a bonus.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, also, when I was trying to spend all my money so I could get to zero, I was putting a performance part on a car. That was pretty cool.
Performance.
Yeah, I built an engine with all. I mean, I wasn't checking every single thing, but pretty much everything I saw that had a performance version of it, I was buying.
My gosh.
As a matter of fact, I think I'll put in a performance. I'll go over to Gear Grip and buy a performance transmission.
Not a bad idea. Oh, here's the nightmare part. Figuring
Dude,
out the
there's
wheels.
so many of these transmissions, so many parts I've never seen a use for. They sound really fancy. I wonder if you just don't see them till the late game. But like, you know,
I
there's a gearbox. There's 3 gearboxes for a V10, and there's 2 for a V12.
Huh.
right? So maybe that you just don't see him till late game.
I guess so.
And part of me thinks they might be DLC related, but I hope not, because they shouldn't show up if you don't have the DLC.
No, they shouldn't.
Why would they put the parts in available for sale, but not the cars?
205, 40, 205, 45, 17, 205, 45, 17, 205, 45.
That's not enough numbers. Oh, 205? 17, 205, 45?
I'm gonna go with that. That's only a $2,000 mistake if it's wrong. I think I got it though. Sorry that your rims look like they were through an atomic bomb. It did work.
Nice. Speaking of expensive mistakes, there's this woman at work who keeps making mistakes. And the boss doesn't want to fire her, but I feel like it's got to happen sooner or later.
Well, if you keep making mistakes, probably will.
He moved me into her office, which had another desk.
Yeah.
And it's the office right next to his, and it's over in the main building. So
You have an office?
Yeah. And she's technically the manager of parts, but she's in the main building, and then it used to be me and two other guys over in the parts department where all the stock is, like the stock room and stuff.
Yeah.
But so yeah, he moved me over to the main building with her, right next to his office. But so she's technically the manager, but she keeps making these mistakes and forgetting things and stuff. And so he named one of the guys over there, Lewis, he named him Covert Manager. You know, like secret manager.
Yeah.
Because he basically wants Lewis to be manager, but doesn't want to, unless he has to fire her at some point, he doesn't want to deal with all the trying to, change her title, because it'll be a whole big thing and she'll complain and stuff.
Yeah. So he's just gonna leave her in that title.
Yep. But so yeah, he moved me in with her to try. Hopefully, I can cut down on some of her mistakes.
So you're So you're in an office. You have an office.
Yep. And so one of the guys was joking that I went from a line guy to which the line guys are really important. They fuel the planes and move them around and stuff. But also, we have like one main line guy. They also, take out the trash and do that sort of thing. So it's not
they do everything.
Right. And so they're definitely really important. But it's in some ways they have some like janitor-like duties. So it's not the most prestigious position.
Yeah.
But so one guy was joking that I went from being a line guy to being the lowest ranked member of the parts department to being the so Terry said he wanted me to supervise this woman Yvonne, so he's like, and now you're the supervisor of the manager of parts.
That's a big jump right there.
Yeah.
So what are you doing right now? Really,
I'm playing Car Mechanic Simulator. No, I'm kidding.
Playing at work.
So I mostly receive things. We get a lot of boxes of parts.
Yeah.
And I put them in the system and then create orders and send them out for repair and stuff. But I do mostly that, but all sorts of things. And then, yeah, Terry was saying, I can't deal with any more mistakes from her. You gotta listen to everything she says and watch everything she does.
So pretty much do her job.
Yeah, I'm working on it. But so there's something she did. It was sent out in February, but we're just finding out about it now. So there's this huge company, Bombardier, and they make the Lear jets, which is mostly what we repair,
Yeah.
and most of the parts we ever for Lear jets.
Yeah.
So they're a giant company, and they sell some stuff and repair some stuff. But so yeah, when we sell a part, like we sold this blower motor, and then we get back the core, right?
Yeah.
And then and then we sent, which is like, the same as, I think I told you this. It's the same as when you buy a new alternator, you bring back your old one, and then you get the core fee back.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing where this blower, I don't know what we sold it for, maybe 35,000,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
that's with them giving us their old one so we can repair it. But because if they just wanted to buy it and not give us an old one, maybe it's worth 45,000 or something like that.
Wow. Planes are
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah, but so we have this. So there's a bunch of companies that repair them, and then so we've got this system with all our parts in it on a computer program. And so
Yeah.
when you look up a part, sometimes it says that part has two numbers. There's another number, and because some companies use this number and some companies use this number, but it's the same part. But so when you have
Oh.
something to send out for repair, you look up the part and then you see where we sent it last. And usually that's the right place to send it again.
Oh.
But so she did that. She looked up this blower part, saw the last place we sent it was Bombardier, and she sent it to him. But that was like 3 years ago, the last time we did it. And if she had looked at the alternate part number, she'll see a month earlier we sent one to a different company called Amatech. And
Ooh.
so we got so what they do when you send in the part, they do a tear down, take everything apart and inspect it and figure out what needs to be done and how much it's going to cost. And then they tell you before they start. But so the one at Amatech cost $11,400 to repair.
Yout.
Yeah,
Those
but
things
that's
are
not too
expensive.
bad. Right. But that's not too bad, because then the one she sent to Bombardier, they said 18,000.
Holy crap.
Yeah. But so he called me into his office, and Terry said, find out why we sent it there and why it's so expensive.
80. Why do they charge that much more?
So it could have just been this one was in worse condition than the other one. But I sent him an email and asked, and they said, that's a flat rate. Meaning, doesn't matter how damaged it is, we always charge 18,000 to repair.
So it could be 20,000 in repairs and they'll do it for 18, or
Well,
it could
probably
be.
not. No, at that point, probably if it's more than 18, they say it's BER, which is beyond economical repair, which is like cost more to repair than it's worth,
Yeah.
like totaled, basically. But so they'd probably just tell you it's BER if it's over 18,000. But otherwise, you're paying 18,000. But yeah,
Ouch.
so yep. So she sent it to Bombardier, and now they're telling us 18,000. It's even worse that that's a flat rate because it's not because its condition. It's just that's what they charge.
Well, I definitely
And
wouldn't ever use that one again.
no, but so we have to approve that amount of money and say go ahead repair it for that. But so instead, I said, how much is it to return as is? Which is when they just send it back to you without starting any of the repair work. But they've already done a complete tear down and inspection. So they said it's $1,000 to return it as is.
Oh, but it would still be cheaper than
Exactly.
doing
Yeah.
that, so it'd still be cheaper to get
Yeah.
it back and send it to other guys.
Exactly. So the other guys, it'll probably be around what the first one was, 11,400. But even if it was more, as long as it's under 17,000, it still makes sense to get it back and send it to them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's I told them send it back, but that is $1,000 mistake she made.
Yo, it's just costing them a lot of money.
Yep, and yeah, she does a lot of stuff well, and she does a lot of things, but she's always trying to do too much, and then she makes mistakes and she forgets, and yeah, I think she's got to be fired sooner or later.
Yeah, it won't last long.
No. But then the boss is also, her husband used to work there, and so the boss was sort of friends with her husband.
Oh, that's an awkward situation for him.
Yeah, and then also, and he likes her, she's nice. And then also she had a tumor in her brain. I don't know how long ago, but she had to get like surgery and they removed it. And I think that has hurt her memory some. But so then you just feel bad for her. But like at a certain point, it's just too many mistakes and you're costing too much money.
Yeah, you just can't give her any more chances.
Yep, it's too bad. You have $1,000 mistake.
Youch. Sure your boss didn't like that.
Nope.
I wouldn't
So
either.
I knew it as soon as as soon as I looked at the part number, saw the history on where we sent it, and saw that there was an alternate. I knew she just forgot to check the alternate, the different part number. I knew
Maybe
that
that
was
is
the
to
reason.
do with like her brain tumor or whatever you said she had.
Right. But I mean, if you just take time and focus and make sure you're doing things right, you know, it's not that hard. But when she's like, oh, I have to do this and I have to do these 7 other things,
Yeah,
just
she's in a
trying to do
rush.
too much. Yeah.
Doing a
And
ton of small jobs.
you are?
Yeah, to get XP.
I wish I could paint this car. Everything's perfect now except it's kind of a dark blue, but most of it is black because the parts are unpainted. Yeah, all the panels. Well, I'm gonna sell it for it's worth 55 now, and
Yeah.
there's an 11,000 restoration bonus.
Yeah.
So 66,000 I just sold it for.
Ooh, that's that's not that bad.
Nope.
Jason has a big lifted like Chevy truck or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just saw him go by. I see him go by all the time.
Hmm.
He lives at the bottom of a road, right? I'm pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it was a while ago now, but he told me him and his girlfriend were walking up the road, and they walked by your house, and he said he saw you out there blasting music out of your shed, and it looked like you were detailing the mowers.
Yep. Probably. Sounds about right.
I was like, yeah, that's him.
I can't even remember what he looks like though. It's been so long, so I couldn't even tell if it was him walking by. I really just can't remember him.
Well, I just got a transmission job. It'll be nice and easy, and there's an experience bonus.
Ooh.
I love taking experience bonus jobs, and money bonus is good too, but I really like that experience bonus.
Yeah, that's a good thing to get. Especially when you're trying to expand your shop and stuff like that.
Do you know you can reset your skill points for 12,000? Oh, no. I guess it depends on what level you are, because it's 13,000 now.
Oh,
Which is weird.
That is weird.
Because would it mean Would it mean if I did that? Because you get the, it must mean you get the points back and can respend them how you like. But would that mean my garage would suddenly shrink again?
I don't know.
You think the big garage upgrade ones, you'd think they'd have to stay, but I don't
No, no,
know.
you could just tear down the expansion.
Mm. Well, like, what if you had a car? I mean, who knows what they do, but what if you had 3 cars in here? Then it would have to get rid of one, right? What if you had a car on the test path and you lose the test path? What if you have a bunch of stuff in the warehouse and you lose the warehouse?
I. Good question.
Yeah.
Someone's. Does Jason run at all?
I wouldn't think so, but it's possible.
There's been someone who rides their bike up and down the road. Like true biker. I don't know if that's him. I doubt that's him. And someone who runs up the road. I don't. I can. I don't know if any of those are him.
No, probably not.
Yeah. I don't know who else it would be in our neighborhood. Got everything. Still none of the parts in my inventory are repairable.
Wish everything was repairable.
Yeah, you could repair that old serpentine belt.
Well, I guess a few things like belts and bushings, the rubber, of course, and yeah, pads, brake pads. But,
Yeah, those.
pretty much everything else, I wish was.
I have this really old Jeep that I had to change the timing chain on to tear the whole front of the engine apart.
Oh, another easy trans. I just finished that transmission job with an experience bonus, and I get another transmission job with an experience bonus. What
Wow.
could be better?
Nothing could be
Only
better.
thing, only thing easier would be an exhaust job with an experience bonus.
I don't know if that would happen though.
Yeah, so in my first playthrough, I had just gotten to like level 30, where you get the paint shop and whatever else, but then I hardly played after, so I don't even remember using it, probably just once.
Yeah, that's where I want to get. I think I almost had one in my last playthrough. Shop's extremely busy right now. I can't keep up with the calls. I have like 5 people on the call right now. Oh, this person didn't notice the speed bump, so watch the whole front suspension being rusty.
Oh, was he borrowing his dad's car?
Hold on, let me check. No. It says, when driving through a city, I didn't notice the speed bump. Please check his front suspension, because I have an impression something's not right.
I have the impression absolutely everything is wrong.
Okay, the whole front right, the whole front left, and the radiator. The whole front right and whole front left of your suspension's completely shot, just from hitting a speed bump, and your radiator. And there's probably a lot more.
Why can't I repair these tires with my hammer?
I don't know. Some impacting and some hammering should fix it. Be able to fix it. Ugh, unrealistic.
Alright, I just took a suspension job.
I'm getting tired of those, so I was trying to do easier ones.
I had a money bonus, but looks like there's a lot of things wrong. Just looking at, they didn't give you a list, but you know, you can see how many parts are messed up. Looks like a lot. So I guess they'll put it on the test path and it'll probably be everything.
Yep. Well, now that the whole front end of your car is torn off, I will be able to tell you that it's gonna cost you your whole retirement to fix the car. So
Have you ever gone to the, what's it called, the test track or whatever?
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that they have that they obviously didn't spend too much time working on the driving mechanics, and you can't blame them because it's such a small part of the game. But yeah, the driving is terrible.
Oh yeah. It sucks. Yeah, it's really not the priority in the game.
Well, my boss went to North Carolina today, or South
Yeah.
Carolina, I think, where he's also got a house.
Rich.
And so he won't be there tomorrow. And everything will be a little more relaxing.
Sure it will be, without your boss there.
Yeah, because, I like him, and he's friends with Rich, but he's he's old school, and he's got a certain style where, I mean, he's mostly joking, but he can be a real jerk, especially when people screw up. But most of the time he's just joking, but, he likes to be sort of mean.
Yeah.
But he'll say stuff like, when I was taking the truck out to go somewhere, he told me, like, if I rear end anyone, I'm better off just killing myself rather than coming back. But a lot of people are, like, sort of scared of him and get really nervous whenever he talks to them. But, like, today he was telling me a few things that now that um, now that he told me, I'll make sure they don't happen, and a few things I was never going to do anyway. But he's like, if this happens, you're fired. And if we send any more of those -9 breaks to Aviol, you're fired. And he listed like 5 things, and he was obviously joking. He wouldn't be happy if any of them happened. He was telling me to make sure they don't happen, but he wouldn't really fire me over it. But
No.
I wasn't nervous at all. I was totally calm, and I was just like, "Yep, sounds good, sounds fair." Yeah, and because he's like I said, I like him. And he's pretty good, and just it's a old school style of management. But because he's sort of a jerk, before I knew him, Rich told me, like, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Because a lot of people couldn't work for him.
Yeah.
But so, one day he was over in parts, yelling at us and saying, about the other 2 guys. He's like, I got you 2 up here who don't care if we sell anything. And I've got Sawyer back there who'd rather be working at Subway, but his uncle won't let him quit. And then he went on and he said, I'm trying to teach him life lessons. And I said, actually, my uncle said I could quit, but I appreciate the life lessons.
Some good life lessons from him.
Yeah. Yeah, and he says stuff like, yesterday was my first day over in this new office, and one of the other parts guys came over to bring something, and then Terry was leaving, and he said to the guy, Andrew, he's like, oh, and you should have seen Sawyer, he's out of control, he was sitting here drinking hot tea all day, he had his feet up on the desk. Obviously none of which was true, but instead of saying like, hey, I didn't do that, I was like, wait, we're not supposed to put our feet on the desk? And at one point, I had to go over to this other hangar where it's just like a warehouse sort of with a bunch of parts, and this guy Josh was going with me because I didn't know the code to get in. There's like an alarm code and stuff. But
Yeah.
Terry's like, yeah, Josh, show him how to get in, and you're something like, you'll need to help him get in. He's not too bright, talking about me. And then he rode the short bus, you know. But and then I was, I just said back, I was like, oh, did I tell you about that?
No, I think you forgot to tell me about that.
Yeah, no. So yeah, he likes me a lot because of that.
Oh my.
Because a lot of people would just be like, no, I didn't ride the short bus. I'm not stupid.
Yeah, and no fun then.
No, but he's obviously joking, so why shouldn't I be joking?
Yeah, you should be.
Oh, I was asking him, I was asking him about the time off for the wedding, and I know I can get time off to go to the wedding, but I was trying to figure out how long I could get. And normally after you've been there a year, you get 2 weeks of paid vacation.
Yeah.
And I haven't been there a year, of course.
Yeah, obviously.
But so I was hoping to get I was hoping for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Unpaid, of course. But so I was telling him about it, and I thought it might help if I told him about the Fiat I want to work on, and I showed him some pictures. And he said, where are you keeping it? And I was like, well, I wanted to put it in my basement, but my mom wasn't too keen on that idea, so right now I've just got it tarped out back. And he was like, all right, well, you tell your mom I said it was okay to put it in the basement.
You have it tarped?
It was at one point.
It's not. Wasn't the last time I was there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I think my mom said something about that. The tarp was blowing off, and she put it in the basement or something like that.
Also, something to say, your paint's starting to chip all over.
Oh, yeah?
From sitting out in the winter.
Well, it needed to be painted anyway. It had a few scratches.
Yeah. But it's I think your hole in the floor is getting a tiny bit bigger too. There's some moisture sitting there.
That's nonsense.
You can actually work on it when you get here.
Yeah, I'd really like to.
You should try to get might want to, if you can't get in the basement, order a cover or something for it.
Yeah, well, I thought about that. Thinking about that in the summer. Only problem is I was looking at the sizes, and that's pretty much the only place I could work on it that's flat and is somewhat shielded from wind and stuff. And I don't want to be walking down to where near the shed is, down there. I don't want to be you want it to be close by, and it's got to be flat and ideally not visible, so it's not an eyesore for my mom. But so I needed, looking at the sizes of those, and I need something that's long enough to cover the car and maybe a foot or with a little extra overhang on each side, so if it was raining or something, I could still be under it.
Yeah.
And it has to be narrow enough, because there's not that much room on each side, on that flat spot, because it starts going up the hill on both sides.
Yeah.
And so I really couldn't find anything that was long enough and narrow enough.
Maybe just a car cover, you just put it over the car.
Yeah, I might do that.
It's not a bad idea to keep it at least car safe when you're not working on it.
But so if I'm so yeah, then Terry asked me what dates I wanted to go, and I pulled out my phone to check, but he had other stuff to do, so he said send me an email. And so he's always in a better mood when he's in South Carolina, so I was going to send him one this weekend.
Good timing to do it.
But so Yeah, so still hoping for 3, but it might just get 2 weeks. But if that's the case, I gotta get up there, start tearing things apart, figure out what I need, get all the stuff ordered quick, because I don't want to, I don't want to get finally arriving like the day before I leave.
Yeah. I th I think you're gonna have to probably rebuild the engine in that thing. 'Cause
I
didn't
think,
you see like oil on the spark plug or something? And there's probably a reason that it was parked too.
yeah, but it could have been anything.
I just have a strange feeling that the engine's gonna need work.
A rebuild.
Yeah. Would you rebuild it in that, or would you just try to find an engine that would work in it?
I don't know, it depends how much time I had.
What would you do if you got a car running though? Would you just use it as just drive it around when you're here? If you ever
Yeah,
got
I think
running,
so.
just have as your New York car.
Yeah, that'd be cool. You know, when I come home, I'm thinking I'm gonna drive up.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
But I guess that depends. And it's actually cheaper to fly, but not by too much. And you can only bring so much stuff, you know. And then it gets more expensive with the stuff you bring.
Yeah, you should probably just drive.
Yeah, but also driving takes. It's like a 20-hour drive. So that takes like 2 days on each side of the trip.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave. I get out of work at 6. I think I'm going to leave right from work.
Yeah.
And then maybe see how long I go before I get too tired, but maybe I'll drive till midnight or something.
Maybe you could even get off work a couple hours early or something.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so drive till like midnight, and then if I don't get off early, that'll be 6 hours. So say maybe I get in like, yeah, just to be safe, call it 6 hours on Friday, and then I'll got with
That's a good amount.
with another stop or two to eat the next day. I'll have another 15ish to go. So if I can set out at maybe, man, that doesn't sound good.
I'm sure it'd feel nice to drive
Set
though.
out at 9 o'clock. Yeah, set out at 9 o'clock. Maybe get there at 1 a.m.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, hopefully get there Saturday night.
Yeah.
But then it's another tricky thing, because if you're gonna fly the cheapest airline, Allegiant, I'll have to check their schedule again because it got screwed up because of COVID. But generally, even before COVID, they only fly at least the Fort Lauderdale to Syracuse. They only do it on like Thursdays and Sundays. But so if I did that, I wouldn't be flying out till Sunday anyway. So
Probably should just drive then.
yeah, that'd be cool. I'm gonna do an oil change soon.
You done one yet?
No.
Ooh. Sure, you put a lot of mileage on it, driving it down there and everything. And driving around from here. But I guess that was all highway mileage.
Yeah, and then down here.
You barely drive, don't you? Mileage.
Well, yeah, mileage-wise, yeah.
That's why I was saying it might be nice to just have a nice long highway drive.
Oh yeah. When I probably told you, but when I went to visit Dennis on the other coast and I went across Alligator Alley,
Yeah,
that
you
was
did
awesome.
tell me.
Yeah, it was awesome just to actually be going somewhere and not stopping every 40 seconds.
Not going.
Yeah. Yep, and I got up to 130, so that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, has to be fun.
Mm. Dude, I love driving with my windows open, and it's crazy how the air rushing by feels like, yeah, and I had like my elbow right up on the window, you know, and touching the roof of the car with my hand. And the air flowing by at like 90 feels so different than it does at like 120. It feels so much better. Feels great.
Yeah, and that that's the main part of the reason you have to have your AC working in Florida too. Not only is it hot, but because you're almost only going like 20 miles per hour,
Yeah, right.
and it's 100
But
degrees.
you know, I don't think I told you, but my AC hasn't been working, and I've gone without AC for the last month.
I thought Subarus had pretty bad AC systems.
Well, it's my the AC wasn't so good. It wasn't that cold, and I went to recharge it, and it didn't help. And I realized that the uh, the water pump's making a lot of noise, and so
Well, you
it's
might.
either I'm either gonna need a new pulley, or it might be the bearings, or I might need a whole new water pump.
I might just do the whole water pump because you do the pulley and then the water pump goes out slightly after.
Right. Well, that place I took it to last time, I think I'll just take it there and see what they think.
Yeah, because I don't think that wouldn't be your problem though, would it? For the AC, the water pump.
Well, yeah, because the water pumps is you can hear it get louder when you turn it on.
So the AC works, but the water pump gets louder when it comes on, or it just doesn't work.
Oh, the AC doesn't get cold. I mean, air blows.
There's still a chance that you might have two problems there, though.
No, there's zero chance.
Subarus have pretty weak air conditioner compressors, so hopefully it's not that. Because we bought my dad's Subaru, and then a couple months later, the AC compressor broke. And it never had AC again. Toddy.
All right, well, I'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay. Okay. Oh God. Well.
Hello.
Hello.
I left the previous party due to a network error.
And then it kicked me 5 minutes later, so I had to start another one.
Oh. Yeah, I got too far from, yeah, my phone was out of range.
Yeah.
I might have told you this, but, you know, on Car Talk, they're always joking that, you know, what every mechanic really wants to do is buy a boat. Make enough money to buy a boat.
Yeah.
And then, you know, do they have to make enough money to make their boat payments?
Yeah.
Them included. So, like, so somebody's calling and they have this problem, and one of them's like, well, you know, someone came into the shop with this same problem, and so I gave him I put in a new alternator, and the other brother's like, oh, they need a new alternator, and the first one's like, no, but I had a boat payment due that week.
So he just had to do that alternator to make his boat payment.
Yep, that's what you gotta do sometimes.
Screw your customers over sometimes, just to make that boat payment.
And like, some woman was calling from Las Vegas, and she was talking about, some work she had done, and they by the sound of it, they didn't think the work was necessary, and they were trying to figure out why. Like, maybe there was some stuff that she didn't know, like, cause they would have told her why she needed these parts, but maybe she forgot or didn't understand or whatever, and so they're trying to figure it out, and they ask, is there any is there any water around Las Vegas? And she's like, oh yeah, Lake Mead. And of course, I knew that from Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the Colorado River, which runs through the Grand Canyon, it ends in Lake Mead, which is a lake that was created by the Hoover Dam, which I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of, but it's a gigantic concrete dam. And it was built in like the 20s or something, and it was, even today it's huge, but it was like one of the biggest, you know, engineering projects in the world at the time it was built.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. And in New Vegas, there's a bunch of different factions fighting for control of the Hoover Dam, because they think it might be able to be, because if you can fix the, you know, the whatever the machinery is, that you can produce electricity.
Oh.
Yeah, and that obviously helps in the post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah,
New Vegas is so cool because, you know, Fallout 4 has a bunch of, it's better with, like, you know, better graphics, of course, better, it's better as like a
I like New Vegas more. A little
It's
bit.
better as like a first-person shooter. The guns look better, the aiming's better, all the mechanics are better, shooting is better and everything. But there's the RPG aspects are worse, and the quests aren't as good. I mean, there's still some good ones, but the quests aren't as good, and the decisions you can make aren't as good. Like in New Vegas, there's a solar power plant that you can go help them get up and running again, and then you know, there's different factions you can join. There's like the NCR, which is the New California Republic, and they're kind of like they're like the old government, like the U.S. government, trying to bring law and order back to the land and stuff. And they're like the good guys, but then, you know, taxes and stuff come with that. And but you make all these decisions, and then, so like if you get the power plant up and running, you have like 5 choices where you can and everybody wants you to do different things, but you can send all the power to New Vegas, which is, there's casinos and stuff, and everybody who's got money and is already like the richer people, they all want that. And then there's a
Yeah.
bunch of slums outside the city where you can send it instead and help the poor people. Or you can send it like everywhere so everyone gets some, but there'll also be like rolling brownouts where no one has quite enough power to do what they want, but it will help everybody. Or you can channel it all into this thing. You can find this gun somewhere else, totally unrelated. And then if you do one option, then once a day you can use this gun, and it fires like a laser beam from a satellite, which is pretty sick, but it doesn't help anyone.
Yeah.
But there's all these options. It's so cool. But so yeah, you can choose who you're gonna help, like get the Hoover Dam under control of and help people get power. But yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, they're like, oh, so there's any bodies of water around Las Vegas? And she's like, oh yeah, we've got the Lake Mead. And they're like, and what do people do on Lake Mead? And she's like, oh, all sorts of stuff, swimming, boating. And they're like, oh, boating. Yeah. So I guess we know why the mechanic did that work.
Yeah, I guess we do.
So how's the shop going?
Busy as heck.
Yeah?
Car after car after car after car after car. No sleeping, no eating, just cars.
Just cars. There's one woman who called in, and she said her husband was a mechanic. And she was like, I was wondering if you could try to explain some of the things that he does. And so we're like, she's like, why does he take a job and tell the person it's going to be 4 days, and then he doesn't start till the morning of the 4th day? And there's a few
Just
other
won't
funny
understand.
ones.
What are you saying?
And there's a few other things, but I forget. Something like, why is he... I forget what the question was, but one of the brothers, he explained, like, I get my best work done after 5 o'clock. When the phone stops ringing and there's not people around to bother you, and you really get into it, and before you know it, it's 10 p.m.
Kinda true.
Yeah. Front left door, front right door, trunk. I think this car only needs body work, but I think it needs every single piece.
That's annoying.
Both fenders, both tail lights. I just had to change a brake bulb. I had a brake light out.
Oh.
Yeah, it was probably out for... I don't know how long it was before I knew about it, but once I knew about it, I waited like another 2 weeks.
That's not a good thing to wait on.
No, but down here it seems like no one cares.
Yeah, they're all too busy drinking Bud Light. Oh,
Left
gosh.
headlight, rear window.
All too busy Bud Lighting and, yeah, they're all too busy Bud Lighting and doing crazy things.
Yeah. Okay, both door windows, both mirrors. Front left, front right. Mirror. And rear left window. Yeah, buying body parts is also, it's not as tricky as tires, but it's also tricky because like you think you remember it, but then you was like, oh no, it was the front, it was the right rear, not the right front window, or you know, it was like, oh, it was the right tail light, not the left tail light. Damn it.
Yeah. It is annoying. This guy has a bunch of suspension problems. I fixed all the suspension and brake problems he was having. And then he says there's a mushroom smell.
I remember that one. So I didn't have that much trouble this time, but when I first played this last summer, I was stuck on that one a long time.
I can't figure out what the mushroom smell is. Do you
Well,
remember?
because did you check the air filter?
No.
Well, check that. I don't think that's it, but...
I doubt an air filter would make a car smell like mushrooms.
Right. Well, that's pretty much the only thing that could in this game. But if I remember right...
Nope. Mufflers could, but no muffler problems.
But if I remember right, the mushroom smell actually is not an issue and doesn't mean anything. It's just there to add a little bit of color.
I'm missing two parts. There's two
I'm pretty
things.
sure one's a bushing. I'm pretty sure one is a bushing, probably in the cross member.
I replaced the whole cross member, and all of it's new.
Fuel pump. Check that.
I should check that. Nope. That's good.
Yeah, well, yeah, so the mushroom thing doesn't mean anything, and that's why I was stuck on it for so long the first time. It wasn't that hard this time, but...
That's just the engine that's causing that. Other two problems. The serpentine belts look pretty nasty. Let's try taking them off.
The what does?
Serpentine belts look nasty.
What did you... What did you already replace?
Pretty much the whole front suspension system and most of the back. Shock absorbers didn't look bad, but I'll try taking it off. Something so small and stupid.
What?
Probably something so small and stupid.
Oh yeah. Probably is.
Nope, it wasn't that. Let's put that back together.
Oh, is it the air filter cover or base? That can be a tricky one when it's the base.
Nope.
You check the ABS and the brake servo?
Yeah, they look good to me.
You check the radiator?
Yep. Feeling something stupid small in suspension. I just had to redo the whole suspension system.
Did you put it on the test path?
No.
Well, you probably should, because wait, did you only did the front though?
The what? The front? What?
You only did the front suspension for the most part?
Front and part of the back.
Well, if it's a bushing inside one of the arms, that can be tough to spot.
I don't think it is though. Battery's
And you
good.
probably already replaced all the bearings, right?
Yep. Pretty sure. So what did you do in a test path with it?
What do you mean?
Do I take it out on a test drive?
No, you just move it to the test path.
Then what do I do with it there?
Oh, you just drive it over some things. Aha, well I found the thing I was looking for. It's a wheel hub. But I hadn't even looked very hard. I didn't want to take these discs off if I didn't have to. That's why it was hidden.
Here, I'll just take it a test drive to the car test track. I feel like it.
I haven't done that in forever. For fun or for testing. I mean,
Yeah.
not that it's that much fun, but it is nice to take a car you just fixed out. It's
A
your own
nice
car.
one. Not this crappy little one I'm working on that barely starts.
Right, but it does give you information, so.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, let's go. Oh my god, this thing is so slow with acceleration. do the suspension test. Yeah, seems pretty good.
It should be pretty good. He did almost everything.
Seems perfect, pretty much. I mean, it is a crappy car. Pretty much the whole front suspension's re-overed. The little car does not like the suspension test. It is really slow with acceleration. Car can actually be pretty fun when it gets up to speed.
Sure, if you've got a half hour.
The frick is the Salem test?
I'll slalom. It's when you zigzag back and forth quick. The Salem test is when you drown them to find out if they're a witch or not. Have you ever heard of the Salem witch trials?
No.
It's in Salem, Massachusetts. It's like a famous thing. It's in like the 1700s when they thought there was a bunch of the townspeople thought there was witchcraft going on and suspected all these people of being witches.
Yeah.
And once you were suspected of being a witch, there's no way out. They say we're gonna kill you or whatever unless you tell us who else is a witch. And so people would like panic and they're really scared, and so they'd say someone else is a witch, and then the same thing would happen to that person.
Cool.
And in Fallout 4, since that's in Boston, Massachusetts, there's something called the Salem Museum of Witchcraft.
Yeah.
And when you go there, there's a death claw in the attic. So that's fun.
That sounds fun. Seems that the brakes are pretty decent on this car too. I did the whole front brakes pretty much. Which does most of your braking, it should be good. Everything came back on the examined parts pretty well. Nothing seems to be wrong with that. It's probably a bushing. About ready to just leave it in that test path and never look back.
Until you need to put something else on that test path.
And then I'll look back.
Oh, you know, it was one way they would test to see if you were a witch.
What?
They'd like chain a concrete block to your ankle, and they'd throw you in a lake. And if you didn't drown, you were a witch. But if you did drown, you were cleared. You're not a witch, but you'd be dead.
So you're gonna die either way?
Well, no one is a witch, so everyone actually died the first way. But, but yeah, I guess if it turned out they were a witch, then they would try to kill him anyway.
Maybe they should learn no one's a witch if they suspected hundreds of people or whatever, and then they just keep dying.
Yeah, well, different times, you know.
People aren't smart. Still aren't smart. And still will never be smart.
Well, we're definitely smarter, but sometimes it doesn't seem like it.
It only doesn't seem like it. Especially with America from, I think it was 2016 to 2020. Wheel hubcaps I need to do, but I knew I needed to do. I forgot to do that. Problem is, this car is in such bad shape that everything looks bad.
Yeah, I hate that.
Never taking another car without a list.
Never?
Never. There's a tiny little moth flying around my room driving me crazy. He's acting like he's on like meth.
Moth meth.
Yep.
You know, since I did it when I played last summer, but since I started this game, I have not worked on a rotary engine yet.
Huh. I guess they're not popular.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to find a Mazda in a barn and rebuild a rotary.
Wish I could just give up this freaking car, but you can't even give up.
Well, after you did that test, you should have almost, you know how to examine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, just look at the examine thing and just, you should be able to see the colors of almost everything. And then whatever you can't, just examine it until you can just see everything.
Yeah, I guess I'll do that. Well, in the front I've got everything except for the motor.
Hmm.
Literally everything. This brake pad's bad. Brake pads are bad. Don't tell me it was brake pads.
It was the pads and you didn't know?
'Cause I didn't take them off one of the sides and didn't think about that.
Oh.
Ugh. I still have one more problem though.
Well, pull all the pads.
Oh, I already did all the other ones. Wait, no, I guess I don't have another problem.
Not
Well,
nice.
solved. Brake disc ventilated and brake pads. Brake disc. Okay, it's apparently those one side of brakes that looked fine to me. The caliper pads and disc was bad.
Oh, jeez.
That was a stupid move of mine.
You're never going to be able to make your boat payments working like that.
No, especially if I take 10 hours on a 5-hour job. And I can still only charge 5 hours. I guess if I really have to make a boat payment, I can charge 10 hours. But then the rear brake discs look like they've been underwater for 25 years, and they're fine. I'm about to go smack that little moth. Get rid of that car. Go look in a barn. Why not?
How much money do you have?
20 grand. I don't think I'm really gonna find anything great, but oh well.
Well, you know, there are a lot of barns you can get, but so this isn't too true, I guess, but you know, normally my thinking is you never want to go unless you have enough money to buy whatever you want, because there might be something really nice that you're gonna miss forever.
I'm gonna go anyways.
But
Probably regret
yeah,
it.
but like I said, there are a lot of barns you can get, so I guess that's not too big an issue.
The annoying thing is, it cost me $100 to go there. I don't know why it would, because
So,
I could just drive there.
$100 of gas.
Yeah, like
Can you drive
exactly.
there? Do you have a car?
I guess not.
Wouldn't that be cool if it like cost money for a cab, but if you actually had a running car, then it didn't cost anything?
It's probably the person saying I'm charging you $100 to show you my barn.
Hmm. I guess that makes sense, even though you still have to buy everything in it.
So let's see what car this is. How do I check what car it is?
Triangle. Or I think. Yeah, you have to hit buy car, and then you have to hit buy it, but
It's a Luxor Bowen.
I know that name, but I forget what that looks like.
It's like an old Cadillac type car. There's absolutely nothing in this barn at all of use.
I hate when you find like nice like performance transmissions, but they're at 11% and you can't fix them.
Yeah. Well, that barn was useless.
Well, if you spend $100 to travel to another one, you're only gonna have about 200 left. So this car needs a new rear axle knuckle housing A, and I happen to have one in my warehouse that I got out of a crate that's +5 quality. And now, do you think this guy's really gonna appreciate that?
No. No, he's not. Yeah, I'll go to car auctions.
I haven't been there in a long time.
I guess it doesn't let me yet.
Why not?
I'm trying to go around. Trying to go around on the map and it won't let me go to that one. Maybe you have to be a certain level or something. Ooh, let's check another barn out. You can almost go back to barn 2 eventually if you find something really nice.
Can you?
Yeah, pretty sure.
I don't think you can. Because I know that right now I've put all the barns I've found, I've put them on my map.
Yeah.
And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I have 15 barns, 16. I have 16 barns on my map. And it hasn't happened to me yet this game, but I remember it saying, like, cannot add barn to map, too many barns on map.
Oh.
Which means that they must disappear after you go there. So I don't think you can go back.
Interesting. So we're in this garage. It's Bolt Talia or whatever. Talia? It almost looked like a Corvette. And for 20,000, and then there's an El Camino for 18,000 on the other side.
Oh.
It's missing the doors, but overall the body actually looks in pretty decent shape. It opened the hood and the engine actually looks pretty decent. This might actually be a good buy.
Yeah? How much is it? That's the El Camino?
18,000 for El Camino. That's all. I can't afford the other one. I only have 19,500.
Huh.
I guess I'll do
you
it.
should get it. Yeah.
I guess I'll check for any parts or anything. Oh, there was another car here too. I didn't even notice. And it was $16,000 and it looks a lot cooler. But I liked El Camino anyways.
And it's probably in worse shape.
El Camino I think was in better shape. This
Yeah.
barn was a decent barn find. Nothing on the shelves or anything, but no complaints. Got a car.
I usually buy like everything in a barn. Well, I mean, maybe not all the cars, it depends. But I usually buy like every part that's over maybe 40% or something.
Yeah.
Because even if they're like weird body panels for something I don't own.
All the parts barns I find, both the barns I've had so far don't have any parts in them.
Sounds like you needed to look harder.
I
would take your word for it, except you almost didn't see an entire car. So I'm guessing you might have missed a shelf or two that did have parts.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to spend any money anyways. I'm blowing money now.
Finally done with this job.
This truck actually might not take much to start. Ridiculous amount. Looks like the transmission and stuff's bad, but the engine might not take much.
Yeah, like I was saying before, I just got out of a crate. I just got a camshaft for a V10.
Wow.
Like where are these V10s?
I don't know. Well, I put the El Camino in parking until I get the second lift. Maybe I'll be able to pull it out and do a little bit of work under the hood and stuff without lifting it, taking the wheels off and stuff when I get some more money, but really straight.
I really like working on engines on the stand.
Yeah.
Alright, I have been avoiding engine jobs except for restoring my own cars. This one's got an experience bonus. And they say, vehicle cannot be started, knocking noises from engine bay, timing needs replacing. Oh, I forgot I had the compression tester.
I don't have any of that yet.
The test path is nice, and then I think pretty much the only other tool, like, you know, using the tread tester.
Yeah.
I don't have it now, and it's been a long time, so I forget. Maybe you can see all the wheels at once when you do it, but if you have to do it with each wheel, then using it takes like the same amount of time as pulling off the wheel and putting it back on, which, you know, would tell you the condition.
Yeah.
So maybe it shows you all at once, but otherwise that's kind of useless.